Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Gift of Giving. For those tuning in for the first time, this show features guests who are founders of work for foundations, non-profits, 501c3 corporations, and our guests this week are certainly no exception. They are the founders of Goodie Two Shoes, and so welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Nikki and Tony Bertie.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. I love your motto, by the way, building a better foundation 1 foot at a time. What a wonderful motto. Who came up with that? Can you remember?
I did, actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, shoes are a foundation, right?
Yes.
And building a better foundation, building a better community, it all sort of just came together.
Yeah, there you go. Well, because you got the prize, you get to answer the first question.
Okay.
How about that? So, what is the mission of the organization, and when was it actually founded?
So the Goodie Two Shoes Foundation provides disadvantaged children and children in crisis with new shoes and socks, as well as other items deemed essential for good health and positive development. We started as a one-day event. We were just going to do this one time in 2003. And we had such a great experience doing it, and the feedback was so great from the people that were helping us with friends and family that we started doing it more regularly, and we actually became a foundation in 2007. So this year, in October of 2023, we are actually celebrating our 20th anniversary.
Wow, that's quite a long time you've been doing this.
It is.
What a difference you've made.
Yes.
How many shoes have you actually, can you quantify
Yeah.
it?
Oh, absolutely. We know how many children we've outfitted since day one. We've actually outfitted over 142,000 children here in Clark County.
Incredible. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Before we get into the specifics of the organization, Tony, I'm not going to get any points for asking this. It's not an original question. You are known as a professional athlete, and you were with the San Diego Chargers for a few years,
Yes,
I believe.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And how did you do the transfer? That's a quantum leap to get from
Right.
playing football to fitting children's shoes.
So it's not as far a leap as you might imagine. So the foundation is under the premise of an event that actually I did when I played for the Chargers. Now I didn't put it on, the Chargers did. It was called the Chargers Payless Shoe Drive.
Gotcha.
And they brought 1,000 kids to a local Payless Shoes once a year, and we outfitted 1,000 kids with, I think there were 4 Payless Shoe stores in town they did that with. And as a rookie, one of the veterans, Stan Brock, said, "Hey, come to this event with us. It's a good time. On Tuesday, we outfit kids with shoes. You'll really enjoy it." So we did the first year as a rookie, and then the next year I told Nikki, "You should come to this event with us and check this out," and she did, and we both kind of fell in love with it, and did it for the 4 years we're there in San Diego. And then when we retired after some injury problems, after 6 years of all the football and all the body injuries that football does to you,
Go with it. Yes.
we retired back to Las Vegas. I started in real estate. My wife was staying home with our children, and we kept thinking about this event, and she came to me in 2003 and said, "I think we should do that event. I think we should partner with the Boys and Girls Club, and we're going to outfit 225 kids, and we're going to do it on this day, and I've already contacted Payless Shoes, and blah, 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 blah," and that's how it started. So it's very seemingly normal transition, right, from football to getting these shoes. It makes total sense.
Well, at least we can see the sort of path that got you there,
Right.
the journey you took, the footpath you took.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Yeah, because that was going to be my question. What was the catalyst? And obviously it was the experience with the San Diego Chargers when they had that annual event.
Correct. And it's a different experience, and I think for both of us, like I grew up as one of the children we would have served. My family was lower middle class. We're a family of, mixed family of 2 families together, both parents labor workers. I wear a size 15, so choosing
Wow.
shoes as a kid was very hard back,
Yes.
way back in the 90s or 80s, way back. So, you couldn't go online to Zappos or whatever
No.
and just purchase them online like you can now. And so, when my mother could afford to buy me new shoes, you'd walk into a store and they'd give you 2 choices: this white pair, this black pair, brands you'd never heard of. And so I think what hit me was just the opportunity of these kids that were in the same economic situation I was when I was a kid, able to walk in and pick any pair they wanted, regardless of their economic status, the color, the size. As long as it fit them, they get to pick any pair they want on the rack. And I think that's what hit me the most. And that's what about Goodie Two-Shoes is the most important to us, is not just the shoes and socks, but the kids get to pick any pair that they want.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that, obviously, in the future.
Yes,
with
yes.
that, but
You're talking about going back to the 90s. How about the 50s? And I got my brother's hand-me-down shoes, so I can't remember when I got a new pair of
you go.
shoes. But anyway, that's how it was. So you're both founders, of course, of this organization.
Yes. Right.
What are your roles now? Because I think I read that you're not full-time. You're full-time?
Oh, we're both
Yeah,
full-time.
we're both
Oh, you're
full-time.
both
Yeah,
full-time.
Tony actually
Okay.
came over to the foundation full-time in 2012. We had just grown so much that it was
You needed him.
a point that we needed to expand. Yeah. So for us, we have a very small staff of 5. We actually have had 4 for most of the time, so going up to 5 just recently happened. I serve as the CEO, and Tony serves as the COO. We have different responsibilities, but we wear lots of hats. So, for example, Tony does operations and business development and shoe inventory management, but he also drives our mobile unit. I do day-to-day operations, liaison with the schools, lots of event management, coordination, and what have you. So we wear lots of different hats.
Yeah, gosh. Well, if you've only got a staff for 5 and you've got an organization that size,
Yes.
you've got to have multiple hats.
Yes, yes.
All the time. How do you get the word out about your services, and how do people actually come to your shop, or do they go somewhere and get the shoes? How does that work?
So we don't actually have a physical location that's open to the public. We work primarily through the Clark County School District Partnership Office to serve Title I Tier 1 schools. So we work with them 6 months in advance to identify usually 12 to 15 schools per semester that we will go do a shoe distribution event at that location. And at that location on that designated day, we will outfit 400 to 450 of their most critical needs students with brand new shoes and socks.
And who determines which of those 400 students do they have to go through some screening process? Or does the school district tell you that? Or?
Yes, so children have to be on the free or reduced lunch program to qualify for our programming. They also have to be in need of our resources at the time of our visit, our planned visit. So they cannot have gotten shoes from another program within 6 months, either direction of our event. And we work actually with the partnership office to identify which schools would best be served, have the largest demographics and population of students in need of what we do. And then the schools are responsible for selecting the kids and making sure we include sibling groups and making sure the folks that are most familiar with the families and the familial situations, we want them deciding which kids are participating in the program. And our goal is to identify 450 kids at an elementary school or 550 at a middle school. And then with average absentee rates, we usually end up outfitting about 400 to 450 or 500 to 550. And if they tell us they have, 556 kids or whatever, we'll accommodate. But our sweet spot in the years of us doing this and from our experiences, focusing on that 4 to 450 or 5 to 550.
Okay. And you mentioned in there about a sibling group. So let's say you've got 3 kids that in the one family.
Yes.
You make sure that all 3 of them
Absolutely.
are included, so
Yes.
it's not just
Yes.
one and the other 2 feel left out.
Absolutely.
So
yes, very important.
That's very important. It's nice that you're very cognitive of
Yes.
that too. And was that something you insisted upon when you started the foundation, or it
Yeah,
just evolved?
Yeah, I think that was something that was critical to us at the beginning. There's a lot of disparity and opportunity, and so we thought it was really important to make sure that kids in the same family, that one wouldn't go home with new shoes and the rest wouldn't. So as long as they're all at the same school, we make sure that the sibling groups are included.
Okay. And just before we go to a break, you mentioned that you partner with the Clark County School District.
Yes.
I'm assuming you don't then do private schools. You don't do anything with private schools.
Good.
So no. So we see some charter schools, but it's only the Title I Tier 1 schools. Our goal is to go to the kids that needs the most. Parents who can afford to put their children in private schools don't need our resources.
Okay.
So we go to the schools that need us the most, and we try to see the kids that need our resources here in Las Vegas.
Okay. And I'm assuming the same goes for children that are homeschooled. You're just assuming that if they're not going. They
Correct.
don't.
Yeah, there is no organized way for us to coordinate a homeschool style event, and we actually prefer to work with the school to do the events during the school day. because it just empowers the kids with choice. There's no parental oversight. They're there to pick out their own shoes with the help of a community volunteer, and we like the dynamics of that opportunity for them.
Sounds good. Stay with us. We're going to take a short sponsorship break, and we have a new sponsor this week. And so if your business is in need of financial assistance, please stay tuned and listen to the sponsorship message, and we'll be right back.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at pacificcoastcap.com.
Welcome back, everyone, and I'd like to thank Pacific Coast Capital for sponsoring this program. We appreciate it. And welcome back, Nikki and Tony. Thanks for being with us again today. So let's talk a little bit about your programs, because you said you have regular programs and crisis programs.
Yep.
So would you guys like to explain who's best at handling that one?
Nikki's best. We'll let Nikki go.
So our goal is to serve 10 to 11,000 children each school year. We do 25 to 27 school-based events. In addition, we have a very small crisis referral component, and that is meant for students who have been in a catastrophic emergent situation. So that's just not a low income situation. That's something that's happening that's been dramatic. So that can be a fire, a flood, domestic violence, parental incarceration, removal from the home, something in which there is something catastrophic that has happened. Usually within the last 24 to 72 hours. And then we allow first responders, social workers, caseworkers, and managers to reach out to us, and then we will make an effort to have those children come to our very next shoe distribution, which we do almost once a week. And we'll get them outfitted on site at that next event, and then they would be taken back to their own school locations. But we don't respond to a lot of kids in that regard, just because it's sort of a complicated process of transporting and bringing them. Again, we don't have a facility that students can come to or families can come to. So what that involves is just getting them to that next location and having permission to transport and what have you. But we'll do shoes, socks, backpacks, toothbrush kits, whatever we can to assist based on the situation.
Gotcha. Now, do you partner with any other organizations that deal with children, like, say, Project 150 or Baby's Bounty or any of those? Do you network with of those?
Yeah, so we have a lot of collaborative partnerships. Because we just do shoes and socks, we often get product that we can't use, what we consider dysfunctional. It doesn't mean there's anything necessarily wrong with it, but we focus on sneakers. So everything we carry is a closed-toed, brand new boxed and tagged sneaker. And periodically we will get other inventory in, whether through purchase or donation, that doesn't suit our needs. So for example, if we get like soccer slides, we will donate them off to another charity that maybe needs shower shoes for folks living in shelters or communal situations. We've gotten cleats before. We've donated those to sports teams. We've gotten baby shoes. We've donated those off. And then periodically, as we turn over inventory that maybe isn't as popular, because we do empower kids with choice and give them the opportunity to pick their sneakers. Every once in a while, something we think is going to be hot is not. And so it'll sit for an extended period of time, and then we'll want to turn it over. And so we will partner with another agency to give those. But we've done provide footwear to Peggy's Attic. We have done some stuff for Project 150, CI Communities and Schools,
Las
Street
Vegas,
Teens,
Metro.
Metro. We work with extensively. We had some sock deliveries that came into us that weren't uniform to how we distribute, and so we ended up giving a couple pallets to Metro for their officers to give out in the field. So just different opportunities like that. There's nothing set. It just depends on what the inventory situation is. But we're all working towards the same goals, and we're all working to help the same kids. So there's a lot of synergy and gives us a lot of opportunity. Yeah.
And with all these sneakers, when you actually go to the schools, do you actually have a big van or a mobile, something where you open up a lid and there's all this display of shoes, or Do they look at them in the books and you specially order them? How does that work?
It's kind of like it's kind of like the idea was we have a shoe trailer, so it's a 48-foot NASCAR trailer. We pull
boy,
a Ford F-450 Super Duty truck, so it's a rolling shoe store. So we roll up.
Gotcha.
We carry everything from a little kid size 6 to a men's 18 in stock on the trailer.
Jeepers.
It's ready to go.
Uh-huh.
Our trailer holds over 3,000 pairs of shoes. Everything.
Good grief.
It's racked just like if you. It's funny when we designed the trailer, which interesting enough was designed on a napkin over a bottle of wine at dinner one night. So it's
Whatever works.
That's a whole funny story by itself, right?
That is a funny story by itself.
Exactly. So, but we designed this trailer, and then we had it built in a company in Indiana built it for us. But it's literally like a NASCAR trailer. So we roll up on site. It's 13 feet tall. It's 48 foot long. We open the doors. We pull these racks out. We have these big mats. It's like a big giant. It's very colorful. It's all kinds of different colors and swirls. We have music playing. Our goal is that the children that we serve at the schools get to go to our event, not have to go to our event.
Yes.
And I think that's the difference. And some people, for the other kids, go, well, how come you got to go instead of? And that's the whole goal for us. Is that it's not a stigma to who get shoes from us. It's like, oh my gosh, we get Goodie Two-Shoes coming. It's a great day at our school. We're gonna have the best time. And so that's the case. If you've ever been to a pair of shoes before two stores before they closed, that's how the inside of our trailer looks. We actually went in there. We designed the trailer with a tape measure, and we're measuring how their racks on the wall were. So our trailer racks have racks on the wall. We have rolling racks that strap in the floor that are larger sizes that go outside on these large mats. And if we bring 3,000 pairs of shoes, we can easily outfit 450 kids with every child having the same choice. The first child and the last child having the ability to choose any pair they want in their size. And everything's, again, brand new, boxed and tagged.
Well, you ought to be commended if you did all that measuring after a couple of bottles of wine and it worked out. So
that was a couple days later. But yes.
Now, you say you covered Southern Nevada.
Yes.
And that's quite a big area.
Yes.
I mean, do you cover Nye County as well, and do you go up to Mesquite or Sandy Valley or anywhere like that?
Yeah, we have done Nye County before. As far as Pahrump, our mobile unit has only got about a foot of clearance, and it doesn't travel well. We get less than 6 miles to a gallon. So the notion of going too far out of range, it presents some challenges. We've done some events, one-offs in Mesquite, but primarily we try to serve the Clark County School District.
Yes.
The majority of Title I, Tier 1 schools, the bulk of them are located on the east and north side of town, and so we really focus in this area. And also we have such a great partnership with the Clark County Partnership Office in helping determine which schools are most in need. That works really well for us.
Well, and even doing 25 to 27 schools a year we're just scratching the surface. I mean,
Yeah.
we literally, there are so many schools in this city that need that kind of help.
Sure.
So we're doing one once a week as often as we can. If we could do 2 a week, we still wouldn't even hit the number of schools.
Yeah.
So us leaving even Las Vegas is unnecessary. We have plenty of schools to serve here.
Yes. And that was one thing I was curious about, and you addressed it earlier about the San Diego charges. I thought, how in the world did you discover that there was this need? I would never think that there would be children out there, as many as there are, without new shoes.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. I think a lot of people don't really think about that aspect because we all have shoes we select for our outfits or whatever the case may be. But kids who don't have shoes or are actually missing school because they don't have proper footwear or sharing footwear with siblings, all those things are happening in our community all the time. And so I think it's something people don't really realize. Like, it's a basic necessity. You can't go to school if you don't have proper footwear. You can't be at PE or enjoy recess if you don't have proper footwear. All the kids, a lot of them walk, and we live in a place where the concrete easily gets 120 degrees. So you really need adequate footwear to be mobile, and just shoes have become such a status symbol in the last couple years. Kids are really cognizant of what that means to other kids, and it certainly having bad shoes, torn shoes, duct tape shoes, smelly shoes, whatever the case may be, that can really become a flashpoint for bullying.
Yes.
So there's a lot of it's a very visible sign of poverty. So there's a lot that kind of plays into that, and I think people don't often realize what it means to not have a pair of shoes or to have bad shoes that hurt your feet all the time and are uncomfortable.
Wow. Yeah, I can believe that. It's amazing how much shoes have become such a, as you said, if you don't have good shoes, it's a social stigma.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
when we were at school, never even thought of shoes. You know, it was always shirts and sweaters and jackets, ties, that kind of stuff. So, finally in this segment, volunteers. You said you're a staff of 7. Are they
5? Yeah, 5.
Staff
of 5.
staff of 5?
Yeah.
But plus the 2 of you.
No.
we are
total.
5 including.
5
of the
total.
Oh,
We are 2 of the 5.
see, but
No, 5 total.
5. Do you have volunteer opportunities?
We absolutely do. So each of our shoe distributions, we bring in 50 community volunteers. They come from either our sponsors that are help funding the event, or from just individuals or individual groups that come in, and they actually work one-on-one with the kids to help us implement our programming. And we bring in about 2,300 volunteers who donate around 7,000 to 8,000 hours each school year to us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And are the volunteers, are they teenagers, or are they adults, or just across the spectrum, family outings?
Yeah, well, we have a huge spectrum of volunteers. We have a very large core of retired folks who come out and help us. They call themselves the
Retired
but not expired. They're in their 70s and 80s, very active, come out every week and help us out. We have students that are in college that volunteer with us regularly. You do need to be 18 to volunteer with us to work one-on-one with the kids. Each of our distributions, we do allow a very small number of children aged 13 to 17 to volunteer. But most likely, they have to be accompanied by an adult that day volunteering as well. And most likely, they're in school themselves at the time we're doing the shoe distribution. So there's not a lot of synergy with children under the age of 18 volunteering with us. But we do have some opportunities. They just can't work one-on-one with the kids. So we only allow 3 per distribution, and they do ancillary activities like bagging the shoes or handing out acknowledgement cards. Or dental kits to the kids. They can't work one-on-one with the kiddos.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
We're going to take another break.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to talk about how Goodie Two Shoes gets funded, and also talk about a very important upcoming fundraising event that they're having that we hope you'll consider attending. So we're going to take a brief break. Stay with us.
At Lucia Capital Group, we've been helping people manage risk and plan for their future through some of the most challenging market conditions. Volatility in the stock market will never go away, so it's really all about your strategy and how you react to it. Our bucket strategy aims to help you manage your financial goals even during the most uncertain times. I'm Joshua Dowden. I've been working with clients here for more than 16 years, and I can help you as well. My office is right here in the heart of Summerlin, just north of Charleston Boulevard. Don't let the stock market determine the quality of your retirement. Call me today for a free consultation. 702-508-6421. That's 702-508-6421.
Welcome back, everyone. And I'd like to thank Joshua Dowden from Lucia Capital Group for his sponsorship and for the great financial advice he's given me for my retirement over the years. And welcome back, Tony and Nikki. And just before we go into your fundraising and how you get your money, where do you actually get your shoes from? Is it corporations' donations, or you get grants and you go and buy them discount? Or how does that work?
So it's a little bit of both. I mean, we've now outfitted over 142,000 children. So we go through 10 to 12,000 units a year of shoes. So we're like a small shoe store.
Yes.
So we've partnered with, we have community partners that donate product to us. We also purchase product retail at a discount. We go to the shoe shows, like when the shoe shows come to town, we actually go with, as a buyer, and go sit with different brands and actually order product from them as well. They also have their inventory that's their last year's inventory, which is funny because the shoe, what we've learned, it's funny so much we learn about shoes that we didn't know, obviously. The shoe style period is 120 days. That's the shoe season. So there's 3 shoe seasons a year. So you could be wearing last season's shoes pretty quickly. Right? I know, me too. But the funny thing is, like, if it's Nike or Converse or Vans or DC or the shoes the kids don't care. They care about what the color of the shoes are, and that whole thing. And so we buy product it's called aged product. It's 120 plus days old, and at an extreme discount. And so we purchase from different distributors. We've just have grown a list over the years of where we get that product from. We do partner with Zappos and 6PM. They do donate product to us, and we purchase a ton of product from them as well. We're always buying product. Again, if we distribute 450 pairs a week, I need to replace those 450 pairs with product. So our goal in our warehouse is to have between 8,000 and 10,000 units in stock at any time. We purchase our socks directly through Hanes, through Walmart, and get all of our socks purchased that way. We do buy all that product once a year, get a giant semi truck of socks that backs up, and we then sort it and repackage it for our purposes. So we are like a retail shoe sock
It
operation.
really sounds
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
You've really got it well greased foundation and cycle going there.
20 years of honing. We figured out what works and maybe what doesn't work so
Well,
good.
yes. Well, you've obviously got it. Well, look at your results. I mean,
Yes.
that tells you all you need to know, doesn't it?
Yes.
And where do you get your funding from? Do you get any government grants or city grants or corporate donations, individual donations?
So we focus primarily on corporate, individual, and foundation support. We, until COVID happened, we had never taken any government dollars at all. Did impact us, and we wanted to keep our staff intact. We continued to operate through COVID at a very different level, but we were still serving kids who were moving around. At that point, we did become eligible for PPP funding, and that's really the only grant dollars that we've taken, was to help us to get through that that period. Other than that, it's really public and private support. We sort of have a belief that, you know, we only serve the Las Vegas Valley, if you will, Southern Nevada, and the money given to support those operations stay right here in our own community. So there's a lot of opportunity. We have great sponsors that step up to fund events, to help us purchase shoes. We write grants. We get donations, we do fundraisers. All of that comes together that we are fortunate that we don't have to rely on government money to make a difference.
Cool.
And we did learn very early on that the best way to get funders to believe in what we do is to have them come out and volunteer at an event. So
Yes.
if you want to really see the impact, where you actually work with the child and help them pick out the pair of shoes, and you see them put the socks in, and you see where your dollars go, that's the best way for us to get funding. And if you come out and do that, that's literally how, from day one, how our foundation grew. We were only going to be a one-day event in 2003.
Yes.
And at that time, at the end of that event, Kirk Clausen, who at that time was president of Wells Fargo Bank, came up to us and said, "How do we do 500 kids next year, and how's Wells Fargo pay for it?" And we were like, next year. We hadn't even thought about next year. And that's really how the foundation grew, is that people who became involved and got to work with the kids are the ones who helped grow the foundation financially as well.
Just never know when you start down a path. You never know where it's going to go, do you?
Very
100%.
true story.
So let's talk about fundraising events. You've
Sure.
got one coming up soon. Tell us
we do.
about it.
Yeah, so we have our big annual fundraising event. It's May 4th. It's going to be our 14th annual Evening of Heart and Soul. We're doing it at the Fountain Blue this year. It's being presented by Aristocrat Gaming. We're super excited. This event sells out every year, usually in around the end of February. About 500 people. It's not your ordinary boring gala. We like to have a really
Yes.
good time. We bring 500 of the Vegas's community movers and shakers together to make a difference. We do great food, great drinks. We have fun activities. We do rock music, and it's all request. So our guests are determining what music we're listening to throughout the evening. And then we do all the, the trappings, the silent auctions, the live auctions. But we just really come together to raise dollars, and that event is hugely impactful on our organization. It raises 35% of our total operating budget for the year. And so we need people to come out. We've got sponsorships available. We have tables available. We have tickets available. We'd love for the community to come out and support us in that regard to do what we've been talking about.
Okay. Now, where can people find out not only about the fundraiser itself, but about Goodie Two Shoes? Do you have a website that you'd like to share with us and share with our viewers?
Sure. So our website has all the information about Heart and Soul under the events tab. You can click on that and it'll tell you all about tables and sponsorships. And that's www.goodie2shoes, all spelled out, GOODIE2WOSHOES.org. Very important, .org, and that'll get you to where you want to go. It'll also tell you all about our foundation volunteering opportunities, all the things that we've talked about. It'll have our schedule on there and what have you, and so that's a great place as a resource to find out everything you need to know about Goodie Two Shoes. You can also visit us on all our social media channels. Our handle is @Goodie2Shoes, @GTSFLV, just GTSFLV on all of them.
Gotcha. And do you just have the one major fundraiser event every year, or you have this major one and then you have a couple of others?
Yeah, so we do a number of smaller ones. This one is our biggest one. We're already focused on that leading
Sure.
into the spring. But we're always looking for one-off fundraising opportunities, whether that's partnering with somebody who wants to benefit with us. We've done something with Click Hospitality, where we did an event with them, a karaoke event. We've done something with 8 Lounge at Resorts World, where we did Sticks and Kicks event, cigars and sneakers opportunity. We look for, jewelry fundraising opportunities. We're really open.
We've been to bunco tournaments.
We've been to bunco tournaments.
You
Yeah,
name it,
I mean,
we've
you
done
name
it.
it, we've done it.
Yeah.
Goody Two Shoes is always happy to step into that space and benefit from something happening in the community.
Buddy, can you spare us a dime? And you're there, right?
100%.
Not far from the truth, yes.
Okay. And finally, what are the biggest challenges you find? I'm sure finance is always a major concern.
Of course.
That's with any non-profit. Nobody goes in it for the money. But what are the operational challenges that you have, or have you overcome most of them over the years?
I think most of them we've overcome. I think our biggest always just remains inventory, keeping inventory in stock. I mean, we all hate to say the C word, COVID, still, but during COVID, after COVID, it was really hard to get inventory. So, our inventory got really depleted and really depleted. It was hard to buy inventory. It's hard to get inventory donated. We're rebuilding inventory right now all the time. So, we're now 3 or 4 years out and still having to work to rebuild our inventory because there's still the same need. The needs, when we came back in the school district, we came back into. Last year we outfitted 11,004 kids, which was a record year for us.
400 kids.
11,400.
Yeah, a record.
So it was a record year for us, and so it's just keeping inventory and keeping inventory in stock, and so just buying it and getting that inventory at prices now because inflation's affecting everybody and it affects us too. So we used to pay up to $25 for a pair of shoes. Now we're up in the 30s for what we're paying for a product because again it's just what the cost of goods today. So.
Yeah, and that's wholesale pricing. So
Yeah.
as retail prices continue to climb, that impacts us on the wholesale
course.
side substantially. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm sure whatever hurdles that come your way, you're going to meet those challenges and overcome them.
100%.
Clearly, you've done that for all these years, and if you survived through COVID, you're going to survive through it all. So thank you both for being guests on our show
Thank you.
today. It's been a real pleasure having you both and learning about Goody Two Shoes, and you're making a huge difference in our community, and I thank you for that.
Thank you for
Thank you for
having
having
us.
us.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
been a real pleasure.
we appreciate it.
And I'd like to thank our show's producer, John Stiles, and WWDBTV for allowing me to host this program. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Pacific Coast Capital and Joshua Dowden at Lucia Capital Group. I'm getting these capitals a little bit confused. And also my business partner, RJ Champion. You'll see his sponsorship message at the end of this program. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at stephen@thegiftofgiving.vegas. I'd love to hear from you. And please stay tuned. Next week we have people from the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. And they will be coming and talking to us about what they do for the community here in Nevada. So in the meantime, thank you all for tuning in and watching. Stay safe, be kind to one another, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.